how are classes structured? How often do classes meet? How long are they?
Okay, so we offer, let's see, what do we offer? We offer classes pretty much every day of the week. We have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday classes. 2 classes of the week are designated specifically for fundamentals and beginners. So the classes are structured like this. The fundamental classes basically are, we have 8 sequences that we build our classes on. And those are our fundamentals for the method that we teach, the style that we teach, the way that we teach here.
And a sequence would be what?
A sequence would be a series of moves that are done back to back. That's a sequence. A partner sequence, that means I do one move and then my partner responds with a different move. And then we kind of like, so it's a sequence that we do together. So for example, I'll kick, my partner will escape. Then my partner will counter kick, and I will escape. And then I'll do a cartwheel, my partner will cartwheel. So we have this sequence that we do together. It's like almost like a choreography.
So they're always the same movements that are practiced?
Yeah, so when we have, this is for the fundamental classes, the beginner classes. Most of the classes actually are built on the same structure. So, but the fundamentals, we always teach the same basic sequence, but we kind of tweak them a little bit. Then we have the all-level classes that are more, they vary. We have different styles, different aspects of capoeira. If it's floor work, more of the high game, the tactical, the more martial combative aspect of it, the more flow aspect, the more acrobatics. Those are on the all-level classes. The way a general class is structured, which doesn't matter if it's a fundamentals or an all-level class, we start with a warm-up. We do a very thorough warm-up, everybody together. And then usually what I do is I break apart the pieces that we're going to be learning for the sequence. So let's say the sequence has 4 movements. So I'm going to break them apart in class. We're going to train on them separately. In between, we might have some drills that we do for conditioning or for flexibility. And then by the end of the class, all the moves connect together like a puzzle, and then you have a sequence. So the students kind of get to practice each part individually, separately, or with partners with different methods of teaching. And at the end of the class, they have a small sequence where they can try to apply it when they go into the roda, the capoeira circle, which they can play in with. And the idea is, over time, the students accumulate more and more sequences. So think about the capoeira moves as words. So we increase their vocabulary. So when they go into the roda, they can actually improvise and create a conversation on the spot. Because they have all these tools. Oh, if he does this one, I can escape this way, this way, this way, this way, this way. Now it's a matter of your self-expression. How do you want to escape? Do you want to counter with a kick? Do you want to counter with a acrobatic move? Do you want to counter with a floor movement? Do you want not to respond? Do you understand?
Oh, yeah.
And with time, they start to accumulate all these movements, vocabulary of movements, and they can start to create their own conversation. And that's really cool to watch. It's actually, it's pretty mesmerizing. When you have somebody that's completely new and they come in, and suddenly it's out of the blue, it's like after a month, they're like doing their own thing.
In the roda?
In the roda, yeah.
Okay. And what would the natural progression be for a student who's training in capoeira or in the classes? They start as a beginner, and then what are the levels that they go through?
What do you mean, like progression in level? Like how physically they progress, or how do they get their ranks, their belts?
I guess so. Ranks. The cords, are they called?
Cords. Yeah.
Cords,
in Portuguese, we
belts?
call them cordão, which is a cord.
Okay.
Portuguese for cord.
Okay.
So usually the first belt, the idea in the belt system in capoeira is different than other martial arts, at least in my school. Some schools are very strict on it, right? Some schools, when you get your first belt, you need to know a list of things. And for me, I see that capoeira can be applied for any individual. And I'm not a person. I used to be this person like, oh, you have to do this. I was really strict on stuff. But I found out that not everybody's going to take capoeira professional like I did, or like I do. So some people will just want to come and do it as a hobby, right? Just want to train. They come for their hour or twice a week and they leave at their workout because they enjoy this more than the gym, and they see better results most of the time, right? So the other side of that is you have people that are going to be really strict with like, oh, I want to get good, I want this and this. So we try to accommodate both characteristics. The first belts, I usually give just in a matter of time and in order to create a generation. And I really believe in generations in Capoeira. In Capoeira, you get your belt as a group. A whole bunch of people get the first belt together. You create a generation. And then the idea is this generation now grows together. Makes sense? And it creates this kind of community, a community inside the community. Then we have like, there was once a group here, they called themselves the green team, because they all had the green belts. Right? And then they got the next belt, they moved on to, they changed the name, right? And the whole concept is they get people to work together. There's a lot of benefits in that. Because sometimes, let's say I'm in this green team that's got my first belt, and I'm like on this like capoeira bug, want to train all day, and I'm like kind of doing all these new stuff, and I'm kind of pulling the people in my generation to join me. And then life happens, suddenly I might take a step back from training that hard, but somebody else might get, and they might start to push everybody, oh, let's meet up, let's train some more, let's stay after class, let's stay in the hallways, train here, let's train there. And you create this kind of like movement of a snowball effect, you know? Mm-hmm. Without me really doing stuff, the capoeira is starting to grow within the individuals. So we have this aspect of creating generations. The first two belts are just given with consistency. So if you're training minimum like, about 6 months, 4 to 6 months, you'll get your first belt, which is the green belt. Then usually about 6 months after that, you'll get your second belt, kind of intermediate belt. And then after that, it's every year. Pretty much every year you get a belt. The requirements to get a belt is to be consistent. At least 2 classes a week, more or less. I know life happens, but more or less, then naturally it's my responsibility to get you to the level that I feel that is needed for somebody in the next coming belt. So for me, it's like I try to get the students to progress without noticing that they're actually doing so much work and improving. That makes sense? Mm-hmm. So it's not like, oh, you have to go and train on your own to learn this skill. Like, no, come to the classes, and I'm going to do my best to shape you into that, right? And give you the right tools so it will naturally happen. Once students get to the yellow, blue belt, which is about after 6 years, 7 years. About 7 years. Then the next belt is a belt that I already have a lot of requirements, which means requirements to learn and know how to play the instruments properly to be able to lead the roda. So that will be kind of getting the belt that we give. It's called the yellow-blue. It's a monitor, which a monitor is like an assistant instructor. It's one level before the instructor belt, which is a blue belt. And we see the blue belt as equivalent to a black belt in other martial arts. Because once you get to the black belt, then it's like the progression becomes a lot slower, right? You get like different kind of ranks, and it's years and years. So basically, before they get that monitor belt, the belt that has requirements, up to there, they just gotta be consistent, have fun, train, be part of the community. If they can help with performances and stuff to give back to the community. And it's not necessarily our community inside the group. We want to try to share capoeira with as many people as we can. We were talking about this today, that a lot of people just don't know what capoeira is. It's not very mainstream. People don't know about it. So it's hard to really advertise. It's hard to get people to be like, oh, let me try something new. Or, oh, I know what it is. Oh, jiu-jitsu, self-defense. Oh, karate. We have Karate Kid. Oh, ninja, kung fu. We have, so many kung fu ninjas and movies, stuff like that. So everybody knows it, right? Only one movie about capoeira, only one video game. So it's still only one movie that has specifically capoeira.
Yeah, and then there was the MMA fighter that was, I can't remember.
Conor McGregor that did a little bit. He did a little bit with Ido Portal, which Ido Portal used to be part of our group back in Israel, years ago. He used to be part of the group that he used to come to our academy a lot. It was really nice. He's an amazing human being. Amazing. I just love that guy. I personally like him a lot. I've trained with him before. I took all his online courses and everything. Amazing teacher. Conor McGregor did do a little bit of help with the capoeira. People heard about it, but still, it's not as popular. Mm-hmm. So with that being said, we're trying to do demos and do stuff. If it's performing at like Relay for Life's events and We were supposed to do a parade this weekend. It didn't work out, unfortunately. But we're trying to eventually get back into doing performances and demonstrations to share capoeira with the community, so people will know more about it. Because it's very like, that's another big part of being part of the community here. It's like, okay, how can you help keep capoeira growing? Because it is considered a young art form, and not many people know about it. So it's kind of our life mission.